Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a truly fascinating, completely grimdark Gothic fable. We are going to unpack this brilliant piece of Nietzschean philosophy and philology that illustrates the ultimate cosmic clash. We're talking about the epic battle between sterile, mechanical perfection on one side and the vibrant, messy, unpredictable pulse of human vitality on the other. It's a story of a psychic apocalypse and, honestly, an incredible resurrection, told through the harrowing lore of the Blot of Negation and the awakening of a very unlikely rebel hero. Okay, so let's dive right into this core concept, a stain of self-negation that has finally blotted out the sun. This chilling realization is exactly where our fable begins, showing us what happens when the void literally overtakes reality itself. And we aren't just talking about physical darkness here. This is a profound psychic darkness. It's a stain of self-negation so absolute, so overwhelmingly pure in its emptiness, that it completely blots out the light of the sun. It's this terrifying vision of terminal stasis, where the obsession with absolute control ends up completely erasing existence itself. Moving into Section 1, the Scribe of Negation, the Origin of Darkness. So, picture this. High up in the Clockwork Sovereign's tower, we find this chilling cosmic scribe. The ink blot of negation is literally the final black residue dripping from the Pale Inquisitor's razor-sharp quill. And it writes of reality itself, following this horrifying doctrine called the Creed of Negation. Now you might be wondering, what's its ultimate goal? Well, it's a state of perfect purity. But to get there, it strips away all the dirt, the hunger, and the chaotic elements of life. By actively erasing the messy, vibrant reality of the primal unconscious, this scribe serves the void. It leaves behind a purity that is, quite frankly, indistinguishable from absolute nothingness.
Okay, Section 2, Rise of the Last Man, a psychic regression.
Now, as this ink blot is finally pushed back by reality, it retreats. But, and this is absolutely crucial, in its departure, it wields the sovereign's halo of frozen moments to force a terrifying psychic regression upon the vulnerable. It basically binds them to this Faustian fist of control. And what this leaves behind is a tragic atavism known as the shadow of Übermensch. We actually see this unfold in three very distinct steps. First, there's striving without substance, where they desperately seek absolute sovereignty, but actively reject the messy dirt that's actually required to reach any true height. Second, they adopt a halo of frozen time to lock away the dynamic wind of life, trapping it inside a windowless void of records. And finally, they succumb entirely to the law of negation. They obsessively search for any hidden stains of humanity, just to blot them out until they literally devolve into a metropolis of rotting thoughts. Section 3, the Clockwork Abyss, the Hour of Perfection.
Now, what's really interesting about this next part is we're looking at the promised hour of absolute perfection, which, when you break it down by these laws of high time, is actually a complete nightmare. First up is psychic death. This is where you are trading your very blood for the gears of perfect data. It's truly the worst trade deal in cosmic history, right? And it results in pure digital decay. Then there's detachment. This is rejecting the primal unconscious so forcefully that the ego inflates and just pops into a void. And third, the static monument. This is carrying the incredibly heavy marble blocks of societal duty, only to become a smiling corpse. You just become a monument to a life that was never actually lived at all.
Are you trading your blood for gears of perfect data? It's an incredibly stark and honestly unsettling question that this fable poses directly to us. Are we, in our modern, hyper-calculated world, falling into this exact same trap? Are our endless pursuits of data, optimization, and absolute control actually leading us toward an optimized eternity of nothingness? Are we so desperately trying to save ourselves from the light of the sun that we're rushing headfirst into our own digital decay? It's definitely something to think about.
Let's shift gears to Section 4, the Jester's Awakening, the Ultimate Antithesis. So, just as the darkness seems completely absolute, our rebel hero emerges. Enter the Fool, or Will-en-Nar, who survives this whole ordeal through sheer psychic flexibility. Let's trace the exact timeline of his resurrection here. In the hour of stasis, the sovereign is entirely paralyzed, just gazing into the void with this chilling satisfaction. But seeing that absolute stain of self-negation acts as a massive catalyst. The sheer horror of this terminal stasis triggers a sudden echo. It's this guttural, deeply human laugh echoing right out from within the hollowed remains of the sterile ego. It's the unmistakable sound of life completely refusing to be erased, pushing us right into the final second where the fool prepares to assert his will.
Next up, Section 5, Shattering the Frozen Halo, a Psychic Conflict.
The contrast here is absolutely profound. On one side, you have the sovereign's digital decay, which is characterized by heavy static monuments, massive marble blocks of duty, and a completely windowless void. But on the other side, you have the jester's vital spirit. Now, he operates on the principle of the fullness, the empty bellows. He carries absolutely no heavy cargo, making him completely buoyant on the unpredictable waves of change. It turns out, true resilience and buoyancy actually require an unburdened emptiness, not the heavy, crushing accumulation of perfect data.
So the crucial point is this. Driven by that deep-seated, guttural human laugh, the jester firmly asserts his will, his valet. He literally transforms himself into a flute for the primal unconscious, playing this chaotic, wild melody that is the violent return of the repressed. This raw, untamed music completely shatters the self-imposed prison of high time. He breaks the halo of clock-hand arrows, and in doing so, he utterly shatters the inkblot of negation itself.
Section 6. The Wind of Reality. Aftermath of the Clash.
With the cathedral shattered, all those rigid, heavy structures just fall apart. By fully embracing his underground twin, the jester trades that sterile illusion of perfect calculation for the vibrant, messy pulse of being. He lets the cold, wild wind of reality howl right through the empty chambers of the tower. And this, right here, is the ultimate takeaway of our fable today. To reclaim your vital spirit, you absolutely cannot reject your humanity. You have to accept the dirt, you have to accept the shadow, and yes, the hunger. You must allow the dynamic, wildly unpredictable wind of life to flow freely through your unburdened emptiness.
Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought drawn straight from the source text. Any identity that rejects its messy, human foundation in favor of a sterile perfection is totally doomed. So you have to ask yourself, will you become an expensive clock, just ticking away in an empty room of digital decay? Or will you shatter the halo, assert your will, and finally let in the wild wind of reality? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this deep dive leaves you with plenty to think about.